They like Hitler and stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
If you're like poor and a person of colour and you're short and you're like disabled, then you're like the most affected by climate change. Just when I was starting to really enjoy my time in Berlin, the trans climate movement.
It's not allowed. And you're still doing it.
Are you from like Iraq or?
Northern Iraq.
Northern Iraq.
Yeah.
All right, I made it to Berlin. Everything was delayed. It's already like 12:30 p.m. I'm still gonna hit the streets tonight, but everything was delayed. Everything sucked. Took me like 20 minutes to figure out how to even get out of the airport. Couldn't film anything because I had so much, but let me give you a little tour of my hotel room. This thing cost me like $300 a night. It's so expensive here. Starting with the door. The door's there. You walk in. Tiny little crevice. Got my desk here. My tally. My coffee machine. And my single bed. Proper prison cell, this joint. Interesting first experiences. I mean, I got out of the train station in like the main area. It's just absolutely wild. Hipsters running around everywhere. I tried to ask a few Germans for directions and they literally walked past me like I didn't even exist. It was just, I was like, excuse me, do you know how to get...
Das ist anständig!
That's what I heard. Whether or not they said that, I'm not sure. All right, guys. So this is a genuine undercover operation that we are going into headfirst tonight. And I have to try and fit in. I have to try and look the part, okay? I have seen some funky kits. Some funky get-ups walking around tonight. You gotta do it for the content. You gotta do it for the content sometimes, you know? I don't want to. I was even thinking... bit much. So I've decided to go hat backwards just to give that extra little bit of flair. I'm actually surprised with how well I pull this off. No one will know.
We're a totally peaceful racist group.
There's party locations and clubs absolutely fucking everywhere around here. I actually don't know where to start. I'm spoiled for choice. After coming from Krakow, it's everywhere. I'm not joking.
Seit 95, ich mach es deutlich. Mein Rap ist niemals käuflich. Wenn dann irgendwie teuflisch, so sieht's aus. Warschauer Straße sagt am Start, ich brauch keine Nase, um drauf zu sein. Es ist Freitag oder ist es Samstag bereit, ja. Weiß ich auch nicht, aber mach mal bitte weiter. What's up? Oh? Yeah, Berlin represent, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this what it is, baby. Yeah, yeah. Ja, ich bin ein motivierter Profi hier. Möchte mir nicht unbedingt profilieren, doch wenn es keine Kohle bringt, sorry, Homie, ohne mich bin ich Breakdamage Man. The Master Plan für Cash for Man. Was willst du mir als A-Manager erzählen? Jeder weiß, meine Stimme ist Gold wert. Du willst mich groß rausbringen, bring gefälligst Gold her. Die sagen, Musik bin ich und bleib ich im Bollwerk. Leute feiern mich wie ein Feuerwerk. Einziger Mann, der am Feuer ist, wie Denzel Washington. Ich brauch Kohle für meine Tochter, also komm her.
This place is fucking intense. People just absolutely sending it everywhere. You know, I used to live in a place just like this when I lived in London, but to a smaller extent. This is like massive. Everyone's just out partying. Streets are filthy, full of people drinking beers. It's like a young degen paradise. I mean, when I was 21, I would have, or when I was like 19, 20, 21, I would have absolutely loved this place. As a 30-year-old Jake?
Not so much.
So the area we're in is called Friedrichshain. I think that's how you say it. But this is actually quite a nice area. The one before was super degen and like filthy. But this one is actually kind of classy. I like it. There's some nice bars, people having a drink. I'll show you over here. Maybe it's just that corner. We'll see how it goes as we keep moving. This is rammed. Packed. Kind of nice. I actually kind of like this street. It's called Simon Dagstraat. Simon Dagstraat. Didn't think I'd find myself saying this, but the more I explore, the more I feel like the hat was overkill. You got to do it for the content. This is a pretty sus area. So we're back on this street that I kind of liked before. I think I'm gonna find somewhere and stop and have a beer. Maybe get something to eat. And your family, do they live here? You're zero? Your teeth are too nice, you don't smoke.
I stopped smoking.
Yeah, your teeth are too nice. I don't smoke either, but only when I'm on holiday.
No, the thing is, I used to smoke a lot, but
I'm trying to look like a Berliner, but I don't know how I'm going. Normally my style is much more like European, like minimal. But I'm like, what can I put on to like fit in Berlin?
actually, but it looks nice.
Yeah? That's what I needed to hear. It's reassuring. Nice area this, I like this area. Nice girl, nice beer. What more could a man ask for? So I got my arm twisted into having 2 beers because there was a card minimum. And now I'm going to check out what the kebabs are saying, because if you're going to have a party town, the one thing that you have to have is kebabs, especially if you've got a lot of immigrants. Gotta have kebabs. Good kebabs.
Ooh, nice camera.
Filming the best of the best.
You want the best? Are you vlogging?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought in Berlin they have to have good kebabs. You know?
Yeah. That would be the best kebab.
Yeah.
We just opened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
From Australia.
Australia?
Yeah. Long way away, bro. Where are you from, bro?
I'm from here.
You from?
But, my family, my father, it's my father. He's
Yeah?
Kurdish.
Kurdish. Oh yeah. Cool. Whereabouts? Like northern Iraq, Turkey. Yeah. Kurdish people, they don't have a state right now.
Not right now, like.
Yeah.
We never had a steak.
Yeah.
But maybe one day.
Maybe one day, bro.
Maybe it's better, we don't know.
Yeah. Which like part are you from? Like Iraq or?
Northern Iraq.
Northern Iraq.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, man. So just press OK.
That's okay.
Press Dagen. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. What's your name, brother?
My name is Revant.
Revant?
Yeah.
Jake. Nice to meet you, man. Thank you.
Afterwards, tell me your name.
I will.
Thank you.
All right. We are here at. Check this out. Kalamata. Kalamata in Berlin here. The coolest fucking people ever. They just gave me all this free stuff. Breaded cheese, sun-dried tomatoes. Amazing kebab, bro.
Really?
Amazing
Oh
kebab.
my fucking god, that makes me so happy.
And it stays together.
Yeah,
You know?
we made something new with the paste. You know, it's not like boring garlic,
Yeah.
spicy, and we just want to make something new.
Beautiful.
Thank
Cheers.
you, sir.
Cheers,
Thank you.
man. Thank you.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you, sir. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate that.
Nice to meet you.
What good people. It's an interesting reflection because it's a dilemma that you have. I've been to 40 odd countries. I've experienced many different cultures around the world, and then I find that I get along with people so well. So it's like fundamentally I'm against mass immigration to European countries and to Western countries. However, I'm also acutely aware of the fact that most of them are really good people who are just trying to find a better life and who are just trying to work hard and who are just trying to do their best, really. So this is where it becomes challenging, because I'm also acutely aware of the fact that where he's from, Iraq, where his family's from, their countries have been destroyed by reckless foreign policy. And it wasn't always like that. Those countries weren't always war zones like they are now. Like I was speaking to the cab driver before, and he said he's from Lebanon, from Beirut, and I said, the Paris of the Middle East. And he said, not really, not anymore. And it's true, it used to be the Paris of the Middle East. Syria as well was once a good functioning society. All of these places that we now view as just war zones and basically places that we just bomb, places that Western countries just bomb. They weren't always like that. And one thing that I've experienced firsthand from traveling so much is many interactions with these people that are really overwhelmingly positive, just like the ones that I've had today. So then it puts you in this dilemma where you think, I feel really bad being against immigration because I know that so many of these people are good fundamentally, but the numbers don't lie. Unfortunately, crime rates do go up so much in these countries, and they sort of lose their identity when they have mass immigration coming from these different countries. And this is why I think that slower forms of immigration are much, much better, where people can actually have time to assimilate and integrate into the societies that they come into and actually add value to the societies, rather than mass immigration that overwhelms welfare systems and creates crime and disorder and creates demographic change in these countries. So it is a real dilemma, and I face that because when you travel enough and if you actually have authentic interactions with people, you do realize that the idea of just sitting in a Western country and saying, oh, they're all terrorists, or all Muslims are horrible, or they just want to kill us because of our freedom, it's just not true. It's like a lot of these people have the same values as you and I. And actually, the funny thing is that when I see all these white liberals around, all of these sort of degen white liberals, I have a lot more in common actually with the Muslim immigrants. Like, I can sit with them and have a much more interesting conversation about history. I can have a much more interesting conversation about geopolitics.
My phone selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
They relate to me a lot more with my conservative values. But ultimately what it comes down to is that politics is a tragedy, and international politics is a tragedy. And if you look at it from the bleeding heart perspective, where you're just thinking, we can just allow all of the immigrants in because, you know, we just want them to have a better life. But on a grand scale, it just causes chaos and havoc. With politics, if you do take the bleeding heart approach to everything, then you're destined to fail. And that's just the reality of things. I guess just to say again, you have a lot in common with these people, as much as you do want to see Germany stay German, France stay French, Italy stay Italian, and the rest. Tomorrow we're going to check back in with the nightlife. We're going to do some more going around Berlin and seeing some of the historical sites and all of that. And then tomorrow night I think I will go and check out Berghain and the real degen,
real bad man
areas of the city. So check back in soon. All right, ladies and gents, it is a beautiful day here in Berlin. The sun is shining. This is my hotel. Check this out right here. And you can see my bedroom just up there is looking over the old Berlin Wall. Kind of cool. Woke up in the morning looking at the Berlin Wall. Anyways, beautiful day. For those of you who know anything about Australian football, the Brisbane Lions beat Collingwood to get into our third grand final in a row, like the Super Bowl, third Super Bowl in a row. Just massive. Gonna go check out the Berlin Wall, gonna look at the Socialist Fraternal Kiss painting, mural. It is absolutely jam-packed. I can see it from where I am right now. And there's just scores of people who are all lining up to get their photo in front of it. The thing I wonder is, like, I actually wonder if anyone knows what the mural actually means. I'm interested to see. I think for a lot of people, they might think it represents some sort of like liberalism, but it doesn't. It's a socialist fraternal kiss, which is a tradition of the old Soviet socialists, but we'll get more into that soon.
Sorry.
Do you know what it means, the painting?
I thought it was the two previous East-West leaders.
Sorry?
I thought it was the two leaders at East and West previously, before the wall came down.
The two leaders, they kissed each other?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Do you know what this actually means? Like, what the meaning of it is?
They are two politicians,
Yeah.
and it was like there's a real picture of them both, and it's just a painting of it. It was after when the wall was falling,
Right.
like just a moment of friendship between two politicians.
So, are they like both from this side of Berlin?
No,
or?
it's like really a symbol of now it's like reunited.
Oh, okay. So like one of them's east and one of them's west. Okay, cool. All right, so that was kind of funny. I mean, I don't want to beat up on them because, you know, they're just tourists. They're coming to get a photo of the thing that everyone else gets a photo of, and you don't necessarily have to know the full history of it and stuff. But it is kind of funny when you think about it, because everybody who I just asked thought that was a kiss between the East and West German politicians, and then when the reunification happens, the politicians just come and start hooking up with each other or something, which is kind of funny. because that's not what it is whatsoever. What it is, it's like this socialist fraternal kiss. And it was a tradition with the socialists where they would show solidarity by giving each other 3 kisses on the cheek. And then if they were really trying to bro down, if they were like, you are my brother in arms, you know, we are in this together, one struggle, they just start kissing each other on the lips. Basically, it's just socialists being fucking weirdos, as per usual. Socialists kissing each other on the lips. Where Leonid Brezhnev, who was the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, and Erich Honecker, who was the Secretary of the Socialist Party of East Germany, came together and they just started kissing each other. So, contrary to popular belief, this is not some sort of like, we're reunifying and everyone can be gay now. It's just a weird socialist tradition. And the painting itself is painted by a guy named Dmitry Vrubel, and it's called My God Help Me to Survive This Deadly Love. So it's meant to be this sort of like satirical take on socialist fraternity. It's like a strangling love. It's like a sort of like a performative love and unity, but the love is strangling. My God help me to survive this deadly love. So it's an interesting history when you look at it. Like I said, not to beat up on them, because you don't need to know everything. You get the photo, you're here having a nice time in Berlin, having a coffee, having a beer. You're not going to know everything about everything. But I just think in a super liberal country like this, it is kind of funny how I always see people taking photos in front of that and posting it as if that's some sort of like sign of liberal democracy. And in a way, it is satire. It is like satirizing the Soviet tradition, but it's not. It's got nothing to do with gay shit. It's got nothing to do with butt sex. All right, so quickly history lesson here, just to give a little bit of context to all of this before we go into it. Berlin is obviously a very, very famous historical city, particularly in the 20th century, because Berlin is where Hitler had his last stand, where Hitler died in that bunker, allegedly. I think he escaped to Argentina, but that is for a different video. Maybe I'll go visit those sites in Argentina sometime. But anyway, Hitler had his last stand here in Berlin. Him and Eva Braun romantically died in that bunker together, allegedly. And then after World War II, Germany was partitioned between West and East. So obviously the Soviets and the Western powers, or the Allied powers, made an alliance, and the Eastern Bloc of Germany was given to the Soviets, and the West was actually given to the Western powers, United States, France, and the United Kingdom. And actually, Berlin falls totally in the eastern part of that arrangement, but this city itself, because it's a significant city, was partitioned in and of itself. And so when I stand over here, I'm more on the western side, or on the other side of that river rather, would be the western side, and then this is the eastern side. This was like the communist side of the city. I don't know within how many years, but within a few years of the Eastern Bloc actually coming together with their socialist style of governance and central planning, 20% of the population had fled to the western part because it was pretty much unlivable over here. So then they erected this Berlin Wall to try and stop people from leaving, and then eventually they made it illegal for people to leave. And I think about 140 people were killed trying to defect from East Berlin into West Berlin, until eventually in 1989 the pressure was so great on the Soviet Union was obviously collapsing, that they then eased up restrictions in terms of travel from east to west. And there's a really famous press conference where one of the Eastern Bloc leaders announces out of nowhere that the ease up in restrictions is happening and people will be able to travel to the west again. And then one of the journalists asks him, when does this happen? And he pretty much looks at his notes and he doesn't really know what he's talking about. He says, oh, it's like effective immediately, no delay.
Also Privatreisen nach dem Ausland können ohne Vorliegen von Voraussetzungen, Reiseanlässe und Verwandtschaftsverhältnisse beantragt werden. Das tritt nach meiner Kenntnis ist das sofort. Unverzüglich.
So then thousands of people all came to here, where I'm standing right now, to the wall, and basically overwhelmed the guards. And this is that really famous footage that you see where all of the people from East Germany are flooding into West Germany, and they're all ecstatic and they're all so happy, and they're all using whatever they can to break down the wall in any way possible. And this is like when the reunification happened, and then obviously the Soviet Union fell and East and West Berlin were reunified. And then since then, obviously, Germany has become one of the foremost liberal democracies in the world. More on that soon. But anyways, Liverpool are about to play Everton in a Merseyside derby. I need to go check out the local Liverpool pub here and see how the German LFC supporters do it. All right, we made it. So one of the things that I love doing, I have to do every time I come to a new city, if there's a Liverpool game on, is just check out where the supporters go.
Into the penalty area for Gravenberg. There's the goal.
Let's go! Yes! Gravenberg. I've had my arm twisted into another beer again. So Liverpool hold on for a 2-1 victory. Happy days. Both my teams won today. That means it's a good day, ladies and gents. Now, it would be rude of me not to get a currywurst sausage at some point while I'm here. It's 3:20 p.m. I haven't eaten a thing all day, and I've had a few beers, and I'm a little bit tipsy now, so time to go get myself a German street food special. Berlin is such a cool, vibrant city. I was kind of expecting it, but not to this extent. I mean, everywhere you go around the areas of Friedrichstein and Mitte and these places are just filled with people all hanging out. I mean, this park at the moment is just full to the brim because it's a sunny day. Everyone's hanging out. Really, really cool. Alright, so just walking along, trying to find myself a currywurst, and I see some massive demonstration going on. It looks very political. I think it's a climate change thing, just from first observation. I think it's some gay woke climate change thing. So let's go and see what they're saying. What is going on here? Climate demonstration. Oh my god, climate change protests are the worst. Let's have a look at some of the character. Now they're playing techno music. Let's go and check it out.
Es gibt noch ein Foto aus dem Foto, das ist auch Tradition. Bis gleich!
Excuse me. Is this like a climate change protest?
Yes, from a climate change.
I was just walking to get a sausage and I saw this happening.
Yeah.
What is it like? Are you guys like a political party or?
Oh, we're Friends for Future.
Is it a political party or?
No, it's a movement from students.
Is that like a climate change flag?
That's our flag from our movement for Friends for Future.
What does it mean, the flag?
Well, it's a pride flag with our logo.
Is it like pride, like what kind of pride, like climate pride or something?
It's a pride flag from the LGBTQ+.
Oh, LGBTQ. Oh.
There was still one shithole left to fix. The Middle Earth.
Look! Stop the car!
Is it like, I don't understand, is it a different, same movement or different movement? Or
No, well, the LGBTQ+ movement is like, it's a different movement, but we support the same things, but we also support like climate justice and everything, and also don't like the AfD. Do you know the AfD in Germany? It's a very, very far-right party.
Oh, okay. What do they do that they don't like?
Oh, they're denying climate change.
And they are literally fascists.
Fascists?
Yeah.
I don't really like.
One of them,
they like Hitler and stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that there was a big farmers' protest in Europe with the farmers.
Oh, that's.
That's a different thing. They wanted
nearly 2 years ago. I
like
think.
the farmers didn't want to have restrictions on their soil and
yeah, that wasn't
that
big.
They
Do you know
maybe
Greta Thunberg?
protested over.
Greta Thunberg, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
She's in Gaza right now, no?
Yeah,
she's on her way, yeah.
In 2018, she started protesting in front of the government in Sweden every Friday, and from that, the movement started and then got bigger and bigger. And yeah,
Ideally, what
7
if
years
you
later-
guse could say, like, to solve climate change, what would you do?
There are a lot of things you need to do.
So many solutions.
Like, what would be the main things?
Well, stopping all fossil fuels,
Yeah.
for example.
Stopping all fossil fuels?
Yeah.
That'd be a starting point. But
So, like,
there's
all
so much.
drilling, fracking,
Yeah,
oil, get
that's
rid of it all?
a very bad
And
idea.
support renewable energies.
But if you got rid of all fossil fuels, don't you think that, like, we would struggle to, like, have petrol in our cars and these sorts of things?
Well, the technology exists for renewable energies, and we could invest in renewable energies, and it would be possible.
What about, like,
so many?
all like the clothes that you're wearing and the shoes that you're wearing, all the
Well,
plastic, all the
everything
leather?
I'm wearing is secondhand.
But-
Everything, even my boots.
But it's all made
even
from
my
fossil
socks.
fuels, though. Like.
Well, it's but if you recycle, reuse, there's also so much in this
And
world.
we-
So much clothes are being thrown away, and if you
Even the
reuse it-
necklaces here they're all made from fossil fuels.
Yeah, but they are second-hand as well.
But there's a difference between like using fossil fuels and supporting fossil fuels and investing in fossil fuels that destroy our literal future.
If it's like the worst case scenario, what do you think happens?
Well, there are many worst case scenarios.
Like, do you think we're all going to die?
If we don't
a
act
lot of
now,
people
it could be
could
possible, but
die,
that's not
yeah.
like it's not good to think like that because it's possible to slow down climate change and to
I was watching a video the other day, and it was like, I was looking into it, and there's like a greening of the earth happening, like in some parts of Africa and other different places. It's like the earth is becoming more green than it's ever been.
and that's very good. That's the work of so many activists.
The one thing that I'm just a little bit confused about, though, is like what exactly the pride flag has to do with climate change. Is it like do straight people not support climate change?
No, but we are an inclusive movement, so we want to show support for the community.
And often it's the people that are denying climate change that are also against the LGBT community. And
So they say that the
people-
climate is not changing, or what do they say?
Yeah, they say that's always been the case for the last 100 years. That's normal,
The
but
climate
it's not
deniers.
true.
And they're also like climate justice, like we want the groups that are the minorities, that they're suffering the most from the climate change, and so we want to support those groups.
But like, if they were to like get rid of all of fossil fuels, don't you think that people in Africa and India would suffer the most, and they'd have to go back to like burning cow shit?
Well, actually, in so many countries, I think I'd have to check it up again, but I think in Kenya is using more renewable energies than Germany, for example. And you don't hear about it in the media. Why? I don't know. I don't know. But so many countries are even, for example, India. India is also investing in a lot of renewable energies.
But like, if you could say you're like economic ideology, socialist or communist, or
We are climate activists.
Yeah.
So.
And we are more towards
Anti-capitalism.
anti-capitalism. Yeah.
so East Germany or West Germany?
What?
So East Berlin or West Berlin?
And none of them. No.
It's one Berlin since.
No, I mean like the old, like which one was
No,
better?
no.
Would you have rather live in East Berlin or West
Well,
Berlin
I'd
in
rather have
1975?
it not separated again.
Yeah.
If you had to choose East or West in
We don't
1960?
want
I
to
wouldn't
choose.
choose. We don't want
Yeah.
to repeat that.
Okay.
Okay.
Just when I was starting to really enjoy my time in Berlin, it's always just around the corner. The trans climate movement with a bunch of students, little blue-haired, anti-capitalist, anti-patriarchy students running a fucking climate change movement is the dorkiest thing I've ever seen. So this is what you get, guys, with these hyper-liberal societies like this. It's like you go around and you're like, cool, like vibrant city and everything, and I can see why it appeals to the emotions, you know? Like, this city's so cool, everyone's hanging out in the park, drinking beers, it's so much fun, and it is. It seriously is, it's good fun. But then when you look at it from the perspective of a statesman, do you want these absolute numbskulls? They like Hitler and stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
having influence over politics, because they really do, unfortunately, these different movements. It's like climate change, really? You're suffering a mass immigration, demographic crisis, cost of living, there's war in Europe, all of these things, and you're fucking worried about getting rid of all fossil fuels. Like, I feel bad for them. I probably should push harder, to be honest, but like everything they're wearing is full of fossil fuels. They're saying that they're looking out for minority communities. If you got rid of fossil fuels tomorrow, billions of people would die from starvation, from lack of resources. The one thing that has propped up Africa and Asia and these places is access to cheap and affordable energy. But these idiots don't know the first thing about how the world works. All they like doing is sitting around eating sushi and talking about the patriarchy. I've got a few more over here. Let's go check them out. What is this? What is this protest going on, guys?
What is it about?
What is it? Is it like a protest, or what is it?
There has been a big, a huge climate protest, you know.
Is this
from
like a
Fridays for Future and other organizations? Fridays, do you know Fridays for Future? Are you filming right now?
Yeah, I was just going to get a currywurst sausage.
Before. You cannot film me without asking.
I shouldn't be up here.
Oh, it's
That's really not cool.
If you're in public, I can film. Yeah.
You can film, but you need to ask before.
This is all wrong.
Yeah, but just so you know, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. And you're still doing it.
How dare you?
It is. You're in public, so I can actually film. Yeah. Typical of these places. You can't just go and film. It's like you guys are doing a fucking protest in the middle of the street, and I'm coming up and asking questions about it. Like, if I was doing a march or a protest and someone came up, whatever the ideology is, and they wanted to talk to me about it, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to like talk about my cause, and I'm probably going to debate them and destroy them in public. But what does it tell you when people start running away from the camera as soon as you whip it out? What does that tell you?
We are fighting for better climate protection. We're fighting against the climate crisis. We're fighting for climate justice, which means that everyone should live here and the future should be protected.
Excuse my ignorance, but so climate justice, you mean like you want to get rid of like fossil fuels? And
yes, exactly.
How would you get rid of fossil fuels though? Isn't that like what powers our whole world?
At the moment, maybe yes, but like here in Germany, we see that like more than 2/3 of energy comes from renewable energies, like solar or wind power or water power, and so within the next 10 to 50 years, it should be possible to power the world with renewable energies.
Right. So didn't they have some problems in Germany, like where they had to like fire up the coal plants because the renewables weren't working, so they had to like fire up the coal plants again?
I don't know. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. I was speaking to someone before, and they were saying that they want justice for like the third world and stuff. But the one thing that confused me, like, I think we would probably be okay if that were to happen, but Africa, India, these sorts of places, I think that if you took away like fossil fuels from those places, there'd probably be like 1 billion people who die.
I don't think so, because like it's interesting if you look at Africa or even China. They have like huge power infrastructure for renewable energy. For example, there are some countries in Africa who, I don't know how to say, like to use 100% renewable energies.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it works very well even there.
Right. The one thing, is it just a climate protest, or is it like, is there other social issues attached? Because I saw like different, like they said that there was like pride flags, immigration, and these sorts of things. Like,
so the idea is that climate protection is connected with other social problems. Like for example, poor people are more affected by the climate crisis. Non-white people are more affected by the climate crisis, and so on. So those all linked together. It's called intersection, like intersectionalism. And so we're fighting not only for climate protection, but for climate justice.
So if you're like poor and a person of colour and you're short and you're like disabled, then you're like the most affected by climate change. Yeah, right. But like the thing I don't understand though is when I've looked into it in the past, the message that I've always sort of gotten is that like the third world is the most positively affected by renewable energy because Africans and Indians having access to cheap energy allows them to sort of have a much better standard of life. So if you were to take that away, it would be really bad for those people.
Yeah. What take away?
If you were to take away like fossil fuels and trying to switch to renewable energy because it would take so long and it's really expensive process.
But I think like I don't know the English word, but the Energiewende, the energy change, which is already happening, is happening really fast in Africa and China and so on. And I think they're doing very well.
Okay, well thanks, I appreciate it. So of course I run into a climate protest. Of course. They're letting me film them and everything. I could sort of ambush them if I really wanted to and get some sort of a moment. But I think that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? These people want to move away from fossil fuels entirely. And they're saying that all of these different countries around Africa and India and China, they're all doing it. They're all in the process of it. Like, you get all these African dictatorships that are actually more worried about climate change than they are getting rich. Yeah. And China is building more coal plants than you could possibly even imagine as we speak. They do not give a single fuck. When you look at global politics, guys, one of the key players in global politics and in wealth of nations is energy. Energy is a big one. And the energy industry is a very, very powerful industry, very, very powerful lobby, and you could have all sorts of different criticisms about that. I can understand that. But to suggest that countries would take a huge step back in terms of their economic position and their position in the global supply chain by just going towards renewables. I mean, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, China, India is another big producer. The African countries have all different kinds of mines and cobalt mines, and they'll take it where they can get it. The African countries are probably a little bit less concerned with intersectionality and with climate change than my very... I want to be nice to him because he was nice to me. My friend with the rose-coloured glasses seems to think. We'll just say that. My friend with the rose-coloured glasses seems to think. So this is the trade-off you get, guys. This is a highly, highly liberal country. Highly, highly liberal city. There are obviously some cool parts about it and stuff as well, but trade-offs, eh? Let's go and check out the Brandenburg Gate and the Reichstag. But first, we must get a currywurst. Give me the biggest and best. The chips and whatever.
And on the chips, my sauce?
Yeah?
Okay.
Perfect.
You like garlic?
Yeah. Is it like a curry sauce?
Yes.
Perfect.
This is on the sausage.
Amazing. So as the story goes, Herta Hua was a lady in post-World War II Germany, and after Berlin was destroyed by the Allied powers, she obtained a bit of curry powder and ketchup from the local British soldiers who were stationed in Berlin. She applied that to a sausage, and now you have currywurst sausages. Obviously at this time there were serious rations in Berlin after they got devastated in that war, after the Battle of Berlin, etc. So meat was very hard to come by, it was a bit of a delicacy, and this was sold as a street food and became very, very popular because it was cheap and there was a little bit of protein involved. And then currywurst is now the most popular street food and the most famous street food in all of Berlin. We must get a currywurst. I was just walking to get a sausage and I saw this happening.
Are you filming right now?
Yeah, I was just going to get a currywurst sausage.
Me.
I was just going to get myself a currywurst sausage. Currywurst sausage. Trying to find myself a currywurst. It's not bad. Okay, so we're at the Reichstag building now, which is the German Parliament building. It was erected just after the founding of the German Empire in 1884. It took about 10 years to actually be built. And then the big thing that the Reichstag building is kind of known for is the firebombing of it in 1933. This is when Hitler was Chancellor. They said that it was a Dutch communist. There's still some debate about who did it, but it's like pretty widely sort of believed that it was a Dutch communist who did it. But then the firebombing of the Reichstag building was used by Hitler and the Nazi Party as a way to bring about various different legislative changes. Like there was all sorts of suppression on media that happened and state surveillance. It was kind of like they brought about this emergency time where the Nazi Party could extend their power.
Everybody was running and panting towards the Reichstag, and 3 black Mercedes cars drew up, and I said, I bet that's Hitler. And he said, I do hope to God that this, as I believe, is the work of the communists. This will give us the chance that we need.
So just right here, you can see the German flag on top of the building there. So after the firebombing, because there was a lot of damage to it, the Reichstag actually wasn't used by the Nazis in Parliament. So it was pretty much dormant throughout that time. And then in the area that we are now, which is right like on the river here, this whole area was kind of like a no-go zone, like a buffer zone, I guess, between East and West Berlin. So during the Cold War period, it wasn't really used either. It wasn't like, it's technically on the west side, but it's like it's sort of like the demilitarized zone, if you will, between East and West Berlin. And then in 1990, when the city was reunified, the Reichstag building was where they celebrated it as like a, momentous thing, and then they started using the building again.
The German Parliament building, the Reichstag, is once again a symbol of democracy. The national anthem was played. For those from the East, the words were new. Crowds poured onto the streets from East and West. From this moment on, they were simply Germans.
And they built this transparent dome on top. And the whole idea with that is that it's meant to actually literally represent government transparency. So it's meant to represent, transparent government and liberal democracy and these sorts of things. But I think a few would probably beg to differ a little bit. I mean, when Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany, let in 1 million refugees, I don't really think that the whole entire population was overly keen on that. It seems as though they're transparent with the EU, with the bullies in Brussels, as Nigel Farage calls them. It seems as though actually this country is kind of beholden to the EU and to the bullies in Brussels. And this is why you have the AfD, the Alternative for Deutschland, which is a right-wing party. Far right, they love Hitler, as the climate change protesters were saying before. This is why you have the rise of these sorts of parties. It's because people feel as though Germany has lost its sovereignty. Germany isn't controlled by Germans even, it's controlled by the EU, and all of these liberal policies of mass immigration and of climate change measures and everything, all of these are actually extremely detrimental to the German people, and they don't really have much of a say. So it's clearly a really beautiful building. I mean, you see the statues on the side there and everything. And what I find interesting is like there's like a real contrast between the old and the new going on here. You see the old Reichstag, built in the 19th century, and you contrast it with the new buildings. So after World War II, during the Battle of Berlin, the Reichstag building was heavily impacted by that, by the bombings by the Allied powers. And this is one of the reasons also why during the Soviet era, or during the post-World War II Cold War era, this building wasn't really used, but stunning building. Kind of difficult to actually capture it all in one shot. I like to see the German flag waving on top. Kind of like just gives me flashbacks though to, if you guys have ever seen that moment when Angela Merkel was on stage and then someone was behind her waving a German flag and she shuts it down, swats away the German flag because like that's racist or something. But I like to see it sort of flying high above the Reichstag. I'll try to get a better angle here. I'll try and get a bit further back because I honestly don't think that this really does it justice, if I'm honest. That fucking glass dome on top is absolutely hideous. Why would you besmirch such a beautiful monument with a modernist piece of crap like a glass dome? Ugh.
Brother, ugh.
Ugh.
What's that, brother?
Yuck. You guys won't be able to read it, but it says Dem Deutschen Volker, which means to the German people. And you've got that hideous glass monument, glass dome on top. All right, let's go to the Brandenburg Gate, shall we? Okay, so it's already a very touristy place. It seems like there's some sort of like a run or something that's going on today, but we're here. Brandenburg Gate. Now a little bit about this. Brandenburg Gate was built in the late 18th century during the Prussian Empire. It's a neoclassical style of architecture, meaning that it's sort of, the architectural style itself is based upon ancient Greek and Roman styles of architecture. So it's actually inspired by the Acropolis in Athens. The most interesting part for me is the quadriga right here. So what it is, it's a chariot led by 4 horses. It's a really interesting history with it because it was built, obviously, sort of same time as the structure itself was built. But then after Napoleon came and defeated the Prussians, he took this off the top of the Brandenburg Gate and then took it back to France as a symbol of victory. And then later on, when Napoleon was defeated, one of the Prussian generals went back to France and took this, brought it back to Germany, and they replaced the person who's actually driving the thing from an old sort of Greek angel, a symbol of love and peace, to a more sort of militaristic symbol. Some of the added symbolism was the Iron Cross. There's an Iron Cross on there, which is sort of like Prussian military valor. And they also added an eagle, which is like military power. So, I mean, pretty cool. Like, this is a symbol of power, of national power, and of fortitude and of victory. It used to be more of a symbol of peace, like the post-war entering into the city of Berlin, symbol of peace. But then, after Napoleon was defeated, it was more of a symbol of power and victory. So, super, super cool monument. Those are some of the main spots I wanted to hit. The Reichstag, the Brandenburg Gate, the Berlin Wall. I think that in terms of getting a good day of sightseeing and travel vlogging and a little bit of history, I think that'll do us just fine. Tonight I'm going to go back out again and see if I can maybe go past the Berghain and some of the other more degen clubs where all of the hellish things happen. I'm not going to try and get in or anything like that. I wouldn't want to risk catching AIDS from just being in the vicinity. But we'll go and check out the outside for sure, and it'll be great. So we're back. It's about just past 10 p.m. We went for a bit of a grandpa nap. Had to do it before we went back to the battle tonight. Before we do anything, we have to have some more German food. We've got some goulash here, which is like a pasta noodles type thing. And of course, Wikia. See you later, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your time in Berlin. Take care. Take care. So, it's not too far away, this, from where I just was, the really busy part, but it gets eerily quiet as you get towards it. I'm just walking over now and don't really know what I'm expecting to see here, if I'm honest. So a bit about this place. The Berghain is technically, it's like a techno music nightclub, but it grew out of the 1990s Berlin queer scene, and the guys who opened the club, Berghain is meant to be Berlin and Friedrichstein, or whatever the fuck it's called, still can't pronounce it. It's meant to be a mixture of the two. The guys who run it, they used to own some sort of like a gay fetish party. And then it grew out of this 1990s techno scene in Berlin, where they would get abandoned warehouses and they would throw all these different techno parties. And this is the Soviet side of Berlin. And these are, I think, old Soviet buildings potentially, or they could be older than that, but I think that they're Soviet style commie block buildings. And so it's a gay fetish bar party sort of thing, but you can imagine what goes on in there. I mean, I've only heard stories, but the stories I have heard, apparently like we just got a typical one going past us right now. So some of the stories I've heard just while they walk past is that you've got like some of the craziest buddies literally got cat ears on. I mean, some of the people you see around here. But anyways, one of my friends went there and they went in and they said that as soon as they got in, they saw a gay dude being walked around on a leash, fully naked. They were just like naked walking around on a leash. Another friend, I've had a few people who have told me this actually, that when they've gone in there, they went to take a pee in the toilet, and there's a guy in the toilet who every time you go to take a pee in the cubicle or whatever, he'll poke his head under and want you to pee in his mouth. Apparently that guy's like a resident there. He's like a local. And the funny part is that dude's probably some like accountant somewhere or something who just goes there on the weekend for a bit of fetish stuff. But yeah, this is like degen central here. So let's walk down this creepy ass path. Wish I didn't have to walk down here, especially after old mate with the bunny ears, but let's do it. This place is super creepy. It's like eerily quiet. It's a huge like old Soviet looking building. It's meant to be open from like Thursday to Monday or Thursday to Tuesday or something. I don't know if it's open now. Yeah, I think there's like no one around. It's weird that I can't hear like music or anything going on inside. I can hear music here. And it says there's a lab entry around here. Honestly, I don't see the appeal. Like, I could not think of anything worse than going and spending 3 days listening to fucked up techno and getting high on drugs. Everyone's different.
What the hell is even that? But it's not.
Yeah, so those costumes tell the whole story. So I'm pretty sure that's actually the entrance there, but I just don't think it's open. Maybe I'll try to come back later. Okay, I'm back at the Berghain, and it's safe to say this joint is open for business, baby. There is a line literally down the next street. It's about, I reckon this line's about 400 meters long, maybe more, of degens. This is going to be really awkward going past and filming everyone, but I have to do it. Let's check it out. So this place is renowned for being really, really difficult to get into. So you can see there's like a process and the people are trying to like act cool when they go in and stuff. Got in trouble for filming. Apparently I'm not allowed to film. Oh well. Let's get the fuck out of here. Alright, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but as I was saying that, he flashed his torch in my face, the dude who's doing the entry or whatever. I think he's pretty renowned, that guy, for being the doorman. I think he's, I don't know, there's some sort of folklore about him or whatever. Shines his torch right in my face and he goes, "Sleep in Hausen," or something along those lines. I got out of there pretty quickly because like I have this distinct fear of having a bunch of guys in fairy outfits chasing me and me running away with my butt cheeks clenched as hard as possible. So I got my ass out of there quick smart. But I saw what I wanted to see. I mean, the line was massive, all these degens. I don't want to know how much HIV, chlamydia and herpes was in that line, and I would like to keep that a mystery. So anyways, that is pretty much it, I'd say. I'm pretty tired and keen to get to bed. These really intense sort of places, I mean, these guys just pumping heavy techno behind me with a speaker, just walking down the road. I'm a little bit more of a homebody, if you will. I'm a little bit more of a chill vibes sort of guy. Quiet beer with the lads, have a bit of a chat, you know, that's more my vibe rather than sort of gay butt sex and techno and fairy outfits and stuff. Not really my vibe. I don't think I've ever felt like I fit in less than I do at this moment. Or in Berlin in general. I'm definitely not cool enough or not exclusive enough to knock about with the folks here. So, I mean, I tried with the outfit on the first night, but I think I failed.